I'm Owen Burns, Congresswoman Alder's Chief of Staff. It's a pleasure to meet you. Well, as you know, the federal government has proposed a 50-state ban on texting while driving. The vote on the bill is coming up at the end of this week, and Alder is the only undecided member of the House, so naturally the press are swarming her. She's the swing vote. Now, although not all of her constituents support a national ban, she needs to consider the issue from all angles. Currently, the power to impose a ban on texting while driving lies with the states. This means that if Congress passes this bill, it would turn what is now a state-by-state decision into federal law. A really significant shift. Why? Because it deals with states' rights, the heart of our federalist system of government. Now, I need you to help Alder make a decision about this federal ban. First, talk to the people. Reach out to a broad spectrum and find out how they feel about texting while driving. Next, do some research. For instance, what does the data say about texting-related driving incidents? I want you to study precedent-setting cases. Remember, you must consider both sides of the argument in each case. Review any repealed congressional acts that shifted power back to the states. And, if you need to, any key articles and clauses from the Constitution. These will help clarify the division of power between the state and national governments. Use all your research to write a recommendation memo to advise the Congresswoman to vote one of two ways. For the federal ban, because your research shows it's constitutional, or against it, because it shows it's unconstitutional. Now keep in mind, there are various political forces at play that might also influence Congresswoman Alder's decision. So give reasons for your recommendation. Cite specific examples from your research. We want Alder to understand exactly how you formed your opinion so that she can make the best decision. Have the memo on my desk by end of day tomorrow. Any questions before you get started? For background, read the overview of federalism and how experts have interpreted the Constitution regarding state versus federal powers. The overview highlights Article 1, Section 8, which talks about the enumerated powers, the necessary and proper clause, and the Commerce Clause. It also briefly summarizes key Supreme Court precedents that have dealt with federal versus state rights. Now, once you familiarize yourself with these parts of the Constitution and federalism in general, you can go out and conduct your interviews. When you get back, review the public opinion data you've collected. See if you can identify where on the opinion spectrum each person lies. You'll find extreme views both for and against it. Others may fall somewhere in the middle. You'll need to listen carefully to those you interview. And never forget the central question. Would federal law on this matter meet the criteria of our government system's division of powers? Think of the political scientist briefcase as your research assistant. The briefcase will display your progress so you always know how much you've done and how much you have left to do. It also stores everything you uncover in your research. So if you need to refer back to anything, such as the overview, you can do that from here. You'll also find additional resources that you can access as needed. On the far right, you have the notepad, which you should use to take notes as you investigate the case. If you'd like, try clicking around the briefcase now. You can find summaries of laws currently in place in Missouri and other states in the Additional Resources tab in your briefcase. When you're ready, I'll provide you with a memo template. Be sure that you explain whether you think this proposed federal ban is constitutional. If yes, why? If not, why not? Make sure you present concrete evidence to support your argument. Your plan will be assessed based on how well you demonstrate your understanding of federalism, as well as how persuasively you explain whether or not you think a federal ban is constitutional. We'll also look at your ability to interpret statistical data and public opinion accurately. Be prepared to discuss how and why the Supreme Court made the decisions it did in precedent-setting cases. The important thing to remember is this: there is no right or wrong answer here. But whatever you recommend, you need to make an effective argument supported by solid research. You can find other types of historical and current sources related to federalism and texting while driving in the Political Scientist Briefcase.